Hello and welcome back to the show, everybody. In this episode, we are going to be discussing the importance of websites. And this is an interesting topic right now because times are changing, okay? AI is starting to become incredibly useful, and we're on the verge of it being as wildly world-changing as, maybe something like the Industrial Revolution, okay? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole per se right now, but know that times are changing, okay? And we're sort of between two worlds, okay? There's the old world of how your website served you in your business, and the new world of how it's going to serve you. And I'd like to start with a brief little history of the past. Back when the internet came into existence, a lot of people did not understand the opportunity that was at hand and like how the next 20 years were going to look. But there were those that did understand. And you can go back and watch videos of the tech leaders and the business leaders who saw the potential of what was coming with the dawn of the internet. And it's actually pretty funny because a lot of these videos, they'll actually show screenshots from like an early Amazon.com or an early eBay, and the websites actually looked kind of atrocious. But either way, the leaders were very clear that this was going to change commerce, and it did. It changed it greatly. And over the course of the past 20 years, also, it greatly democratized who could start a business and who could make money in business, because the opportunity became more accessible through the revolution that was the internet. So how did that work? How did the opportunity really exist? Well, what it was is obviously the connectedness between all people who had a personal computer could now communicate with each other and make offers to one another and make their products available to purchase in such an accessible way that didn't exist before. And the most known and powerful tool that pieced that all together was Google search, okay? And Google search worked based off keywords, and for a period of time, there was a lot of importance placed on getting backlinks from other websites and all this. But ultimately, the Google search was not capable of handling long phrase keyword search. What that really means is you couldn't just like pipe in a bunch of sentences into a Google search and get a quality result. You would have to really shorten your query to something like bars near me, a plumber in Auburn, or whatever, like three. It was almost like the shorter the phrase you typed in, the more, like, the better the results came. And that is not how things work anymore, as we know, because with the dawn of AI at our fingertips, we can feed the search query, whether you're using ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, you could feed it paragraphs and paragraphs, books worth of information. And it's almost as if the more specific you are with it, the better the result it's going to give you. You can even give it a whole backstory of who you are and what your problems are, and feed that into your search, and it's going to give you a more specific result. And that, everybody needs to understand how important that is right now with the way that they engineer their online footprint and their website, which, by the way, is the one asset online that you truly have control over, right? Because you're not at the mercy of a platform, let's say. But either way, right now, we're in between these two worlds, and the searching kind of works on a hybrid. Like, we still have traditional Google search if we want to use that, but then we also have AI search. So we're sort of in this hybrid situation where we can use the old tactics, the old SEO tactics, to get some search credibility, if you will, in traditional Google search. But we also have to be paying attention. We have to fully adopt, actually, the new way of how things are going to work, right? Because moving forward, I'm not the only one necessarily that thinks this, but I feel like traditional search is going to go away. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that just sure seems like where things are going, because why anymore would somebody want to pour their own personal energy through sifting through pages and pages of search results when they could just have their magic AI buddy like tell them, summarize the answer of all of that in a few seconds? And so that's where things are going. So that's the introduction to like how you should start thinking about the website strategy for your business. Like, how do we build our website? What do we say on it? What's the engineering that helps the AI agents search your site and get right answers from it, right? So there's the technical side of things, and then there's the human side of things, and that's going to be the common thread of everything we're talking about today, okay? But without getting too in the weeds yet, I'd still like to give you a main takeaway for your website strategy for your business so that you can maximize the chances that it gets you leads and customers, okay? So there's two things that, I'll start with the one thing that you really need to know is that humans and AI agents meaning, AI tools, right? So by the way, when I say AI agent, I mean an AI like ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot doing work on behalf of a human. So when I say AI agent, that's what I mean, okay? Human visitors to your website and AI agents work differently, okay? Humans are emotional creatures. And so we interpret websites through that lens, and AI agents, at least for now, so as far as we can tell, are not. But they are incredibly powerful and can sift through and analyze and summarize information incredibly quickly. So who do you create your website for, the human or the robot? And right now, at least, the answer is both, okay? We need to create websites that are good for humans and good for AI agents. Humans, they don't read. We don't read very much. I mean, we know how to read. We might even like to read, but when we're researching, when we're trying to get to the end of a question that we have, honestly, when we're researching, we scan. We might read if we catch like specific interest in something, but ultimately we scan, okay? We scan pages, we don't read them. So for that side of things, your website needs to be structured in a way to where people can scan all the headings on your website and still understand what you're trying to communicate without reading all of the detailed paragraphs and body text, okay? So a website that is scannable is understandable by a human, okay? And we also need to build the website, though, to where in the body text and in the paragraphs, everything that needs to be said is being said, okay? And I'm not saying write wall of text because that's you taint the human experience on that. But you at least need to have enough pages that contain all the information ultimately that an AI agent would need to know, because an AI agent considers everything, whereas a human is considering usually an emotional motive that they're looking after, okay? So the main takeaway is no matter how you build it, how many pages you have, your website still needs to answer these three questions, both for the humans and the AI agents, which is 1, is this for me? 2, does this company solve my problem? And 3, why should I hire this company or buy from them, right? And you can do that through showing evidence, proof, credibility, and reputation, or like a few ways, for example. At the end of the day, those 3 questions serve both the humans and the AI bots. And let's remember, like, I should have been clear about this. When I say serve the AI bot, what I mean is there's a human on the other end of that benefiting from the work that the AI agent is doing. So ultimately, you're still serving a human, but if the entity or tool that's actually interpreting your message that you're putting out to the world is an AI agent, then you have to accommodate for that, okay? So, is it for me? Can you solve my problem? Why you? Those are the 3 questions your website absolutely has to answer. Okay, so that's your main takeaway from this. Now, let's talk about some tactical things with your website, specifically around site structure, okay? So a lot of people who try to build their own website get this wrong, okay? So I'll go with this. Your website can follow a very basic formula. The home page is going to be an overview and a navigation tool for your visitors. So for the humans who are reading your website, they're going to get a clear understanding of who your business is, what problems your business solves, why you should hire them, and like why it's a good match for them, okay? It's also going to do that for the AI tools, but it's going to be technically built in a way to where the AI agent can understand it, let's say on the code level, okay? And some DIY website building tools sort of do this well, or some better than others, but ultimately, until AI robots are building websites well, which they're not yet, it's good to have a professional handle this technical side of things. So even if you know exactly the way you want your website to be, sometimes it really is a good idea, even if you think you have the chops to do it, is to hand it to a professional to let them actually do the build, because then they can look out for you and handle the technical aspects of this, okay? I'm talking about like HTML structure, schema markup, like all these like technical things that I'm not going to dive deep into right now, okay? But your homepage is an overview, so your visitors can understand it, and it's also a navigation tool. So there's, on the navigation tool side of this, there's 2 things. It's if the human is scanning it, it's sort of like it needs to provide an experience of like helping them get to where they need to go. Like maybe you walk into a grocery store, you look up, there's the signs over the aisles, and that indicates like where the person is going to go to get the thing that they need, and your website needs to function the same way. And so I always like to describe a homepage like that, is that it's a navigation tool. Okay. Now, if the website is structurally and technically built correctly, that gives AI agents an understanding of the structure of your website, which is one of the ways that they understand your business, what it offers, what value it has, and whether it should recommend your business to the person who is asking it to shop for them, okay? So that means you're going to need a minimum of 1 page per service that you offer or product. If you're selling products, then you're going to have a product page per product. But if you have a service, it's going to greatly benefit you to have at least 1 entire page dedicated to that service. You could have more than that. Let's say you have a blog that talks about, aspects of your service, and then you have like the 1 main service page. That's all good too, but you need at least 1 page per service. And the key here is not simply like it was in the past where you just need to have that content up. Now you greatly need to exercise the opportunity to answer as many hyper-specific questions that are real questions that people have asked you about this product or service, published on that page, okay? Because no longer do people, out of habit, people might be searching with short phrases. Plumber near me, movers near me, gymnastics near me, stuff like that. But like anymore, people are going to search in much richer terms. And you, as the business owner, need to spend time recalling specific questions that people have asked you about your business. Like when they call your customer service person, or when they call you if you're a smaller company, think about the pain points they have, the questions they have, the hesitancies that they have when they call you. Oh, maybe the last person I used or the last provider I used, I had this problem. Are you guys going to be able to handle that? Because I don't want to deal with that. Those types of questions need to be like written out almost in long form in your FAQs section, and have as many as you need, because that's how people will be prompting their AI agents to shop for them, right? So one example might be, I'm searching for a gymnastics center near me that specializes in the emotional side of growing a strong, healthy kid into a confident adult, right? So maybe your gymnastics center does that. Well, you need to say that on your website, okay? Because if the other competing gym doesn't say that on their website, but the parent who is shopping for a place to send their kid for gymnastics cares about that, they're likely to be putting that description into their AI search tool. And those search tools are going to scan your entire website to try to get an understanding, not just a keyword match, okay? So that's kind of what the opportunity is here, is authenticity is an even bigger, larger opportunity than it has been in the past, which it already was because it was a differentiating factor. But now it's not just a differentiating factor, it's that we have AI agents that are scouring the internet all the time looking for extremely specific solutions, and your opportunity to capture the market now, your market is going to be based on your authentic value in the marketplace, okay? So that's it for site structure, okay? Homepage is an overview and a navigation tool. You're gonna need a minimum of 1 page per service. Answer as many real, actual questions on your website as possible. In FAQs, you could put FAQs on every page. You could put them on your homepage for all the general questions. You could put the specific questions related to your services on your services pages and in your blogs. And that's that. Okay, so next, we're going to make sure that when we build websites now, that we are using that website, and this has always been the case, by the way, but it's just even more important now, but to use your website as a link center or a hub to link to and from all of your business profiles and marketing content, okay? So if you have an Instagram page, a Facebook page where you publish content, a YouTube channel, LinkedIn, any opportunity you have to cross-link between them will be important. For example, this episode, let's say, generally is about websites, and on our website we have a blog about website strategy and everything I'm talking about now. Well, I'm going to want to publish this video to YouTube. I'm going to want it to live on that blog page. I'm going to want to, well, there will be a link there naturally, but then also any topics that are listed in the YouTube video, I want to include in the YouTube description and link back to that blog. And so what we're doing is we're creating a web, our own digital ecosystem for humans and AI agents alike to explore and understand our services and the value we have to offer the market, okay? So it's like building a web, digital web, like an ecosystem, okay? The bigger that footprint is one factor that matters, but also the quality of the content and the consistency and the continuity between all that content is really important. So like randomly linking pages into content is not of any value because it will create confusion both to the humans and to the robot. But topics that are directly related, or, you know, if you have a proper content marketing strategy, it will be pre-planned out how to publish all this content and how to link it all together. And so that there is that consistency and credibility, right? So the credibility side, by the way, comes from, you know, maybe gathering your Google reviews, Yelp reviews, whatever, maybe Nextdoor, whatever platform you have where you can gather customer sentiment that's positive. You also want to link that into your website. Like if there's any specific reviews or testimonials that belong to one service that you offer, it's important to cross-link those appropriately. And the idea is to create as much consistency and continuity across all your content as possible, okay? Because we want our content web to be understandable, navigable, and therefore recommendable. And that's the key right there, is recommendable, okay? So absolutely do not skip out on continuing to gather positive customer reviews and testimonials. And honestly, this is probably an opportunity to consider diversifying where you collect them. I sort of mentioned that before, but I think that because of the way that AI searches the web, I think your Google reviews will still be like this super prominent and important asset, but so will some other platforms that are heavily weighted in consideration. Like we've noticed that, Yelp gets cited a lot when we see, where the AI is looking. It's looking on Yelp, even like forums like Reddit or Quora. And so that's an interesting conversation to think about as well, is like what conversations are people having about you online? It could even be like in a Facebook thread, a Facebook post, maybe in a public group where people are looking for recommendations. Like having your friends like recommend you is like going to continue to matter. Like, yes, on the human basis, but also on the fact that like Facebook is being crawled by AI agents. And so doing reputation management moving forward, I think, is going to be of even greater importance than it has been in the past. And that's something important to think about. So I could go on and on this topic of how the online world is changing and how your website still fits in and is super important. But I'd still like to give you some last minute tips before I end this particular recording today. Just some simple stuff, some fun little tactical stuff. A lot of this is pretty common, but one, keep your website clean, okay? Easy to read. Yes, beautiful websites are cool, right? But clean websites are functional. And if you could achieve both of those, that's great. Usually that will require some like professional implementation. Once again, until AI is able to do that, we're not sure how close that is. I've tried out AI building tools, and so far, AI website building tools, so far they kind of suck, or at least the ones that I've tried. I'm sure there's great ones out there, but ultimately, I haven't seen anything yet that is compelling as a replacement for a professional when it comes to like putting together all the different aspects of what makes a website truly useful and valuable. But anyway, rule of thumb, keep it clean, keep it easy to read. Keep your website fast, like load speed fast, by reducing image size, file size. That is sort of mainly still like a human experience aspect of things. It's been well known for like the past decade now that the faster the load speed on your website, the greater the chances that the visitor who's reading your website will stick around, right? Like if it's too slow, they're likely to bounce and just like get back onto their research. But either way, keep your website fast. Don't put like gigantic like 5 megabyte like images all over it. Reduce those file sizes before you put them in there. And this is one thing, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but you could look into this if you're managing your website yourself. But make sure you install proper schema.org markup. And what that basically means is some code that you embed into your website that people don't see, but crawl bots see. And what it does is it's a specific file and document in your website that helps the crawl bots understand the actual structure of your website so that it can build an understanding of your business and the value that you offer. And there's actually like back end code that like humans do not see when they're visiting your website that does contribute to how the AI bots how they understand your site. And that is really important, because if the AI agent is confused about like the organization of your business and all of this, it tends to not like that, and it will choose another option that it can understand more so that it can confidently like give a better result. So there is the human aspect of things and the technical aspect, and like it's really important to get them right. I'm just going to keep harping on that, even though we have tools that can help like people build their own websites now. Like if you're taking your business seriously and you do not want to miss on this huge opportunity that is the way people shopping changing, I highly recommend that you take your website and online digital strategy seriously. This might all change even in like a year or two. I'm not sure how fast this revolution is going to change the way everything works. I don't know how long it is before we have AI agents doing like 80% of the work that we are doing today. We're not sure. Like some estimates are in like 12 to 18 months. But other things indicate that it's not so clear. But in the meantime, we do know how things are working now. So we're going to take action on that and help our customers achieve their business goals through understanding this technology, okay? And so if you guys have any questions on this and you want some more clarity, we do offer free discovery calls. You go to our website, auburnbusinessventures.com, and we have a button where you can book a free strategy call, no risk, just a 20-minute conversation, see where your opportunities are. We're always happy to like take a look at your website or maybe some of the other marketing things that you're doing, and we can give you a pretty quick understanding of where your opportunities are, where your weaknesses are, and ways that we can help your businesses get more customers. So thanks everybody for listening today. I hope this was useful, and I look forward to doing more of helpful content for you guys. So have a good one, everybody.